Welcome! I am so excited to welcome you to the chronicles of my Disney adventure. So, we're going to be doing it in parts. Hopefully there's going to be 12 parts, and each of them will detail specific instances that I went through in this whole journey. I feel like I should mention that my audience is basically people who want to get into the college program or the internship that I went through with Disney, regular people who are just interested, and myself, because I learned so many lessons through this process, and I know I will forget them because that is the bane of human existence. So yeah, let's get started. I'm sorry, I just gotta interrupt and say that I signed a contract while I was going through Disney, and it told me I had to say that all of these views are mine and none of them are Disney's. So this first part is gonna talk about my first go at this, and that was my senior year. I hadn't graduated yet, and I ran into a friend who was telling me about the program. So I thought, hey, why not apply? It's for kids who are in college or up to 6 months out of college. So the program that I was applying for is called the Disney College Program. And in this program, college students go and they work at either Disneyland or Disney World for anywhere from 4 to 6 months. And then they get their expenses paid, but it comes out of your paycheck, which you get while you work there, and you just gain experience, and it's basically a foot in the door to the Disney company. And this is really cool because, it allows for you to live in places that you never would be able to given, your financial situation. So I hopped online and I applied, and they have 4 parts to this whole application process. You first tell them that you're interested, and then they do a background check on you or something, and then they send you a computerized test, if you will. It's kind of like a personality test, and then if you pass that test, you then move on and you have a phone interview. And then after the phone interview, they choose if they want to accept you or not. Then they accept you, and then you have to choose to accept them back within 24 hours or 48 hours. You don't have a lot of time to decide. Then you accept them, if you do, and you go through the process of signing all of the documents that they want you to sign. So that's just the overall process. So I applied. I got to the computer test, and so I started taking it, and I didn't actually make it all the way through the test. And when that happens, you've confused the algorithm, so they say confused it. So you had answers that weren't, what's the word? The algorithm is supposed to pick out inconsistencies. I'm not sure if it is that, maybe it is, but I also in part I think they're looking for a certain type of person, and so if you don't fit the bill, they don't pick you, kind of a thing. I look back on it now, and I remember the rejection I got, and I was sad, but I wasn't really devastated because I was kind of in a very pessimistic mood in my life. A lot of that had to do with being a senior and not having a job lined up, and knowing that I was going to go back home and that I wouldn't have any direction. And that's something that's kind of monumental and also scary, because I had, as a business student, a lot of my friends who were getting job offers. People wanted them to work for them. And then there were people who, secured jobs because they applied for them. And then there was a lot of kids like me who just didn't have anything lined up. We're going straight home. And something that's really pressed in the business collegiate community is just, having your ducks in order, being organized, having structure, having goals, and going after them. And then life will just work out for you. That I need to do a whole video on the concepts and the structures the mental structures that I was taught in college and how they didn't play out in real life. So that was my first try. Didn't get all the way through. Didn't really know even how competitive, because it's not talked about online, because no one has the information, because Disney doesn't tell anyone, but it turns out it's a super competitive program too. So that was my first experience with Disney.